So, as you guys probably have figured by now, when I talk, when I say something, I don't really try to sugarcoat anything. I don't feel compelled to really watch who my audience is because, for instance, I don't talk to children. I don't deal with people in my day who aren't adults. Let it be people who just recently became adults, people who just became legal to drink, people who are old with grandkids, or people who are not even that old but have grandkids already. Say someone in their 40s having a kid, and that kid has a kid, and therefore now you're a grandma. I deal with people from all ages and possibly a variety of backgrounds, but because I don't be going around asking about that, I don't care. I don't ask, but it's easy to tell in some instances that someone might have been brought up a little differently, or they may not have been brought up close to my hometown. So I get it. But if there's something that disappoints me about the modern adult, is that it seems like in order to say something mildly serious, relatively serious, something pertaining to your development, let it be professionally or personally, you have to make sure that you give this preamble to the person so that you emotionally anesthetize them in order for them to be in that proper configuration, in the proper shape for you to say something. And I hate that because when I was a kid, I was looking forward to the day that I grew up and got old so that I could express myself freely with adults, the way that I observed the adults conversing. That always had a great impact on me. But nowadays, you have to worry about so many things, so many factors that you gotta consider before you even think about saying something, that it just irritates me. And I don't understand why that is a thing. Imagine if we all went around having to hesitate with what you say because someone simply didn't do their development right, or they simply refused to grow, and now someone like yourself has to pay the consequences. I'm not really going to dive into the actual story of what happened to me to lead me to feel this way and say this, but the only reason I'm putting it out there and I'm saying it so generically is because it happens often. And I just wish to understand now exactly where that came from. Or has that always been a thing and I just had too many expectations of what dealing with the public would be like? You guys let me know, because I feel like there is a class of people out there who can handle the matters that I'm describing. And I know that it's possible because, say, online, I have found spaces in which the comment section is aligned with the person who is creating the content. Online, I really don't experience that problem myself with the folks who have interacted with me. Very seldom do I get someone who we can consider, okay, you're definitely a clown, you're not serious, you're probably some young person, whatever. Just ignore them, dismiss them. There are spaces in which, say, aviation channels, it's really hard to stumble upon a troll or a clown in those channels because of the topic. But when it comes to other kinds of topics, like social topics, I find that people are really lost in their opinion, and it's not necessarily a bad thing because I know I myself like to defend my point, my ways, my views. There is a difference between you being absolutely intolerant of differences to the point that you just wilding up and get defensive and just resort to disrespect, versus, okay, I can hear you out. You're not here to persuade me. You're not trying to buy my vote. You don't really have to try to get me to change. Something that I can state that I wish to share is that it's strange to me that there are people out there who, just because they may have a little bit of experience with something, They just assume that they can read you like an open book. There's a difference between you having a strong hunch and you being able to establish a good relationship with someone first, to where you feel the freedom to share your thoughts, to share your impressions of that person and see how they receive it, see if you're onto something or if you're completely wrong, versus the person who you actually have a pretty good read on, but then they get defensive about the fact that because they are having trouble putting a thought together, putting a line together, you try to be like, okay, since it's been 5 minutes since you've been loading your noodle, then let me see if I can help you clear the picture in your head, describe it. And some people don't like that. Some people get offended by that. And there's also the people who they don't know you very well at all, but just because they may have retired from a profession, or maybe they practiced something for a long time, but now they're like slowing down in their lives, they barely know you and they just think that they have a good read on you. And I'm like, did you listen to a damn thing that I said? Why? If you appreciate me, if you appreciate this, if you appreciate the way I am, what I say, how I act, how I behave, all of those things, I think that the way I manage my life is working for me. Why on God's green earth would you try to change me, change things about me when I have not asked? And most importantly, it does not align with the values I have expressed I have. So stop trying to impose your values, which again are not my values, onto me. Do that and we're gonna get along just fine. Don't do that, and then you will realize that when you do that shit to me, I pull away. I don't draw closer to you. Period. Yeah, I'm done.